Hey guys, this is Gloria Ward with another Self-Love Conversations, and I am so happy that you guys are here. We have a special guest tonight that is going to talk about something that I know most of you probably are curious about or have experienced, and that's adoption. And Elsie here is going to talk about her unique situation and about how she adopted her nephew. Is that correct?
Yes.
And some of the challenges and things that she went through just as a woman, and some of the feelings and stuff that she had, and basically how she has overcame that and now doing what she's doing. So Elsie, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Oh,
Hello.
no problem. So yeah, let's get into it. Tell us the story. Like what were some of the things that you encountered when you adopted your nephew?
Okay. So I guess I'll start with how I got him. It
Okay.
wasn't planned. That's first. It wasn't planned. I got a
Okay.
call from my grandmother one day, and it was basically like, "Can you take him tomorrow?" And I'm
Tomorrow.
like, "Right, yeah." And so I'm like tomorrow.
Babysit or like take, you know?
No, she meant take. And so that's what I said. I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Take him, or he's gonna go with the state. He's gonna go into foster care."
Wow.
And I had never met him. He was a year and a half. I think I met him when he was first born, maybe like 3 days old. So
Mm-hmm.
he was a year and a half. The next day, I went to her house and I got this baby. He had on a shirt and shoes. No, not a shirt. He didn't have on a shirt. He had on a diaper and shoes. That was it. So I took him home with a diaper and shoes. He didn't know me. I didn't know him. And he was kind of looking at me crazy. I was looking at him crazy. Um, and I didn't quite know what I was going to do because my job requires me to travel. And when I travel for weeks at a time, no less than 1 week. So I'm like, okay, what do I do with a baby? It was like a Sunday. And I'm like, I go to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
So what I did was probably dangerous. Don't judge me. But I was so desperate. Like, I was like on Craigslist looking for babysitters. And I know, like, hindsight, that
That's
is,
okay. Yeah.
but I didn't know what to do. And I didn't have, help.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I did find a babysitter, thank God. This guy had helped in the past. His wife, she babysat for me while I went to work.
Mm-hmm.
But it was hard. I would say the first maybe 3 to 4 months, I remember being afraid that I was gonna have a stroke because
Why?
I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating because you got to remember this wasn't planned. I didn't have
Right.
clothes, I didn't have formula, I didn't have diapers. I
Right.
just woke up one morning with a baby and had to literally start from scratch. The shoes he had on were too small.
Oh, wow.
Um, so like the first 3 or 4 months, like I was just scared for my health because I wasn't sleeping anymore, wasn't eating. I was just stressing all day. Like, when I go to work, who's going to keep him if this babysitter isn't available?
Right.
Um, so yeah, it was tough. And then he's my sister's son.
Right.
She didn't make the process any easier. She looked at it like I had took her baby. And
Oh, okay.
so every morning I would wake up to these text messages, you bitch, I hope you die. You took my baby. I mean, it was absolutely awful. And I'm like, I didn't take your baby. Like I didn't ask for the baby. So
Right.
it was really hard in the beginning, but a few years later and we're here.
Yeah. So what was the thing with your mom, right? It was your mom or your grandma who
My grandmother who asked me
uh
to take him.
so she wasn't able to take care of the baby, and then so you had to step in and take care of the baby.
Right. She never had him. We don't know. The
Oh,
baby was going from what I understand, he was going from house to house. Like she had lived in like a
gotcha.
shelter. It was one of those things where she was like 20, young.
Yes.
She was dating a boy. I guess from what I hear, I don't want to tell a lie on nobody. From what I hear,
Okay.
she was dating a young man, and he didn't want to be bothered with the baby, so she just kind of like would dump the baby off on different people. My
Mm.
grandma said when she would call to check on the baby, she would hear him screaming in the background, crying. So eventually, I don't know how DCFS got involved, but by that time, my sister had given birth to another child.
Wow.
So yeah, DCFS took the other child, and
Hmm.
I was able to get him Dante before DCFS got him. And so I'm an attorney, so I
Hmm.
knew that once I took him, DCFS couldn't take him from me
Right.
because I hadn't done anything. So I hurried up and got an emergency court date, and I got guardianship about 4 days later. So I knew legally DCFS couldn't touch him after that. So by
Hmm.
the time DCFS reached out to me, I was able to send them over guardianship paper. And since I had no charges or anything against me, they had no reason to try to take them. So they ended up closing the case.
Okay.
So
So
yeah.
now I'm thinking about your psyche. You're saying that you was about to have a stroke, all this stuff. So when on a Sunday you get a full baby, like what are the things that you're going through? What are some of the things that you thinking about like in your head, you know?
Well, I think one of the biggest things was financial.
Yeah.
Because during the time, like my grandmother raised me.
Yeah.
So now it's like I help her with her bills. So I'm paying for my household, law school loans. I went through law school. I'm paying for law school loans. Then I'm taking care of my grandmother. She's a diabetic. I help her buy food and pay a lot of her utility bills. So I'm just like, okay, how do I like juggle? Mind you, he had a pair of shoes and a diaper. That's it.
Yeah.
So I had to like buy everything. So I started going to the thrift. I would go to the thrift store on weekends over in Lincoln Park and get like baby clothes and baby shoes. He had really bad asthma. He still has the asthma, but I have it under control. But it was like so bad where I was in the ER maybe like 2 to 3 times a month for a severe asthma attack. So I'm like going to work during the day, and I'm in the middle of the night. I'm sitting in the emergency room at county. It was a mess. Mind you, I have no insurance for this kid. He's not on my insurance at work. Right. So I got my sister's medical card that doesn't have my name on it. And I'm just like at the county, like worried, okay, are they going to see me? Are they going to use this card? Like, how do I use this card?
Yeah, right.
So it was a whole mess.
Oh my God. I just can imagine the level of stress from you going to being someone who has, you know, been by themselves working to actually having a baby to doing all this stuff now, like you're a mom overnight, right?
It was a learning process. Let me tell you one thing. I almost killed the boy, and that gave me
don't say that out loud.
I was riding down because I didn't know. I was riding down Cicero Avenue, and cars started honking at me. Wow. And I'm like, what? You know, why are people honking their horns at me? I didn't have the child safety lock on, and he had opened the back door.
So girl, you lying.
I didn't know you were supposed to put the child safety. I had never had a kid. Right. Thank God I had sense enough. I did have him in a car seat, and he was strapped in. But so he couldn't physically get out of the car. But the door was wide open in the middle. And you know, Cicero was a huge street. Yeah. So it was just a mess.
Oh my God. I know you was just back crazy at that point when you saw the door open and everything.
I can laugh about it now, but it was horrible. I don't think I had smiled in like 6 months. And
what?
I mean, it was bad because, mind you, people come and talk to me now about adoption. I have a few women at work, have issues with conceiving. They're like, what is it with adoption? Do you bring the baby home and love it automatically? And I can't speak for everybody else. And I don't know if it was my circumstances, but it took me about a year to bond with him. Really? It's not like it is on TV where you bring this baby home. You're like, oh, I love you. It was just kind of like, okay, you're here. I'll keep you alive. I'll feed you, clothe you. And I was super nice because I love kids. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love kids, but it was unplanned. It was like having an unplanned pregnancy. At least with a pregnancy, you have 9 months to get mentally prepared. It was like overnight. So it took about a year to bond, and that was no fault of his. It was just me just being so stressed and being preoccupied. Like, how do I pay the bills? Then I got him in daycare. How do I pay for daycare? And then a medical card, of course, once I got guardianship, we had to go on my insurance. And when you have insurance, you don't just get to go to the hospital free. You have to pay that 20%.
Wrong. Yeah.
Right. So now I got all these medical bills because he has like this severe asthma. So it was the stress and me just trying to get through each day and keep him alive and keep him well, that I really didn't have time to like be emotional with them and bond with them.
Right, because you were trying to figure out how to take care of him. But what was going on with you at the time? How were you keeping yourself together in order to take care of him? Were you doing different things? Was it prayer, church, whatever? Because sometimes, like, I know with a lot of moms, especially a lot of first-time moms, when, the baby's here, they go through that postpartum depression, you know what I'm saying? Where they're just like, you're here all the time and I don't have my space anymore. I don't have this. Did you experience anything like that?
Yeah, I had this like mom guilt, and the thing about how I reacted to him was weird
Mm-hmm.
because my mom had 6 kids, and I'm the oldest of 6, and
Okay.
she's like strung out on drugs really bad. So
Uh,
we grew up in foster care, and
oh,
that's why I was willing to take him because I grew up in the foster care system, and I was like, if I can save another kid, I'll do that. So I was
absolutely.
actually used to taking care of kids. I think it was
Mm-hmm.
just different because he was like mine, but I was used taking care of babies, so I don't know why it was so bad. I think the combination of having to go to work and I think because I actually like needed people. Maybe.
Yeah.
So as
Mm-hmm.
far as how I took care of myself, I didn't. I would be lying to say, you know, I would pray to God like get me through each day, but I wasn't like sitting down like really focusing. It was literally just kind of like always on the go, always stressed. At night when I would wake up, just 1,000 things going through my head. And this went on, like I said, for almost 6 months.
Really? And tell me about the support, friends, family, anybody.
Joke,
Ooh.
you're joking. Um, I have to be honest. And if any of my friends see this or anybody I did anything for, don't take this personal. This is
Yeah.
my opinion. This is how I feel. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it this time.
Okay.
Before I got him, I was that single family member, that single friend with disposable income. And I had quite a bit of disposable income.
Okay.
So when a kid went on prom, I would buy the prom dresses. I would buy the suits. A kid starts school, I'm paying for orientation. I'm buying clothes, socks, shoes, school supplies. I mean, everything. I did this for family and for friends. I
Mm-hmm.
threw a few people baby showers. I mean, just ridiculous. And when I say it was on a large scale, it was on a large scale. Again, I didn't have kids, so I was Santa Claus for Christmas.
I understand.
It was amazing that when I got him, I don't remember anybody reaching out to me except for one friend. Her name is Maureen. She's this white girl, ironically, and we're really good friends.
Mm-hmm.
The ironic thing is she doesn't have a lot of disposable income. She's a single mom. And she would just do small things that to her was probably small, but it meant the world to me. Like her son was older, but she would give me his socks, his old
He
socks. And
understood
even
where
though my
you
kid
were.
couldn't, right, even though my kid couldn't fit them, I kid you not, she gave me some socks 3 years ago that Dante just started wearing this past winter. I kept them 3 years. I kept them for 3 years.
Yeah.
So the support wasn't there. And to this day, I'm not bitter or anything because I go to church. I'm a good old Christian. Can't be holding on to grudges.
Mm.
But my attitude towards people, it has definitely changed. Definitely changed. Right now, it's about me, Dante, and my grandma and my cat. I have a cat.
Uh-huh.
But other than that, I was really disappointed because it's not like I wanted people to step in and buy me anything or do anything financially, because if I've had to help you over the years, I understand you don't have it. But when you got 3 or 4 kids and I've helped you in a way that I can help you, the least you can do is call and say, are you okay? Do you need a break? Can I keep him? Do you need advice? Just anything. I was doing ridiculous things when I got him. He get a fever, I'm at the hospital. He got a bloody nose, I'm taking him to the hospital. Like, I was so paranoid. But had I had a friend to be like, girl, he got a fever, get him some Tylenol, keep it moving. Little things like that would have helped. Just some advice, just some, are you okay? And when I can say I honestly got that from really nobody, it was the most disappointing thing ever.
Really? But you know what? You know what is so amazing though? It humbled you in a way where you were responsible for someone's life, and being responsible for someone's life, it was probably God showing you all of the things that you went through, probably in foster care, and the people that you were taking care of. Now you have something of your own that you can grow and raise, that you can see really become something just like you. And guess what? You did it this time. You see what I'm saying? You did it this time. And you got to go through the pain and the agony and being alone, because if somebody would have helped you along the way, you probably would have leaned on that help because it was your first time. You see what I'm saying?
And that's why I said, like, I'm not bitter or anything, but I do, my perception of people is a little different.
Now you know how to form your circle. I think that's what was the lesson there. Like, okay, now you know the kind of circle you should have, especially now that you have a kid, you're a mom. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what about having a life? Do you date? Do you do any of those things? Or are you like really in mom mode all the time where you're like, I don't have time for that?
So I think the first maybe year and a half, I was in mom mode, and then I stopped. I was like, you know what, you can't keep going at this pace. Like,
Yep.
you have to have a life. I had started to get depressed.
Yeah.
Like, I had like really like got depressed and actually started going to therapy. Like, I was sad all the time. I felt lonely. I felt isolated. And to me, it was like, to be a good mom, you can't go out. You can't do this. You can't do that.
Right.
Now, girl, I be calling my grandma. Like, I don't do it often, but maybe like twice a month. Like, can you keep them? And she'll keep them, and I'll like go out or hang out with my friends. So it's totally different. When I first got him, I really couldn't do much because he had been to so many homes that it was sad. Like, if I tried to take him somewhere, he would just cry, and he thought I was leaving him forever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I remember about a year in, I took him to Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a timeshare there, and we got there, and I sat him on a couch, and he looked around and he started crying. And at this time he was like 2.5.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out why he was crying, because he's not a whiny kid. And then it dawned on me, he thought I had took him there to leave him.
Girl, no.
Yeah. So if things like that would happen, then when he was able to talk, one day I was taking him to a party, and I was driving for a long time because it was like an hour away. And he was in the back seat. He started crying. I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "You're gonna leave me? You're gonna leave me there at the party?"
It's so crazy. How old is he now?
He's 5 now.
5 years old, and you already have trauma. Like, you never forgot since you were a baby that you were being left. That's something to think about and talk about, because you think that a lot of us don't remember what happened to us at that age, but that was such a staple in him, where now it's like 5 years old, I don't even remember 5. You know what I'm saying? But he knows if he sees his environment that he thinks he's gonna get left there.
Yeah, he's not like that now. Now he's,
of course, because he has the love and everything, right, to do, but basically having that, at that time, it's like you just sit and think like, wow, you're too young to even know stuff like that. But these kids are so advanced now, where you're like, wow. Or it could be back then we probably had it too, but it was just something that, nobody really paid attention to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I guess it depends on your experience. For him, from what I understand, when he would be left different places, she wasn't staying. So imagine a baby, somebody just taking you to this house, and you're there for a few months. And I mean, it was like 13 homes he had lived in. Mind you, I got him when he was 1.5. So like 13 places, including shelters. That's a lot. So of course I was traumatized. Now it's me with attachment issues. Like, when it's time for me to travel to work, when I drop him off, I'm like, "Can I have a hug? Are you gonna miss me?" He'll run off and play, and I'll just be standing at the door like, "Are you gonna miss me? Bye."
He's so okay now. He knows he has love now, so he's all right.
Yeah, he know I won't leave him anymore. I won't leave him. So yeah, he's really smart. As far as my sister, I wish she would do better. That's another thing people don't understand. I get that. I mean, I to this day, I get it, where people have opinions on, "Oh, you shouldn't let her see him. You're his mom, and you shouldn't let her in his life." And, I'm like, you know what? If I was a female and I had a baby's father and he wasn't right, as long as he doesn't harm my child and he's not a danger, that child is going to grow up and figure out things for himself. I feel like when you keep a parent away from a child, when you keep that parent away, you hurt that child psychologically and emotionally.
Absolutely right.
So, I'm a mother to my nephew. I'm his mom. But at the same time, he knows I'm not his biological mom. And if I kept him away, he'll grow up and resent me.
Of course.
And I don't think people get that. Every kid, they need their biological parent. That's why when kids get adopted and they don't know they're adopted, and when they turn 20, 30 and find out, they are devastated. And they go and look for their biological parents because they feel like something is missing. So that's one thing I get a lot. You shouldn't let him see her. And, if she can't take care of him, that is not my problem. That Correct. She can't take care of him. It's about him, his emotional well-being.
And you're doing the right thing, because you don't know, what her psyche is and what her thinking is. But you know, her child, that can be like her hope, seeing him grow up like, wow, I really need to get myself together, at least for him, you know, because she's seeing him, she interacting with him, and she would want, you know, to at least be there to do something. You know what I'm saying? You just
And
never know. You don't know. You don't
it
know.
may be in the future, but
Yeah, I
she
mean, but
had
you don't
three
know.
kids after him.
It,
She's had total 4 kids.
it,
So
it
it
takes
may be that way in the future, but for now she's still young, and
time. Hmm.
she only reach out. If I reach out to her, she'll respond. If I
Okay.
was to pick up the phone and text her right now and say, hey, he wants to see you, she'll let me bring him over. But if I don't reach out to her, like I haven't reached out to her, I don't think I've heard from her in 2 months.
Wow.
Which is like amazing to me, because I'll take him over and he spend a weekend. You actually spend time with this child, and then you can just go months. If I don't like contact you, you don't. She doesn't call and say, "Let me speak to him. Let me say hi." So
Mm.
it's really weird to me because you gave birth to him. I don't keep him away from you, so it has to be some type of attachment. But you won't even pick up the phone and like say hi. So it's a little weird. It's a weird dynamic to me. I
Yeah,
don't.
because and the thing is, the reason why it's so weird is because you don't know her story. You don't know what she's battling with. It could be anything. And there's a reason why the things are happening. And until she's either she's ready to face it, or ready to get help, or ready to do the work to get herself together, then you really won't understand. Because for us, we can see that, but whatever story she's telling herself, that story is what's keeping her away. You know, there's a reason why she's having more kids. There's a reason why she's in the situation she's in, you know. So it is just fortunate and the blessing that he has you, because you still keep him connected. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
maybe it's good that right now, whatever time he get is the time that he gets, and that's fine, you know, because he's learning new things from you. You're his mom. You're teaching him new things. He gets to play. He gets to have fun. He gets to go to Disney World. He gets to do all of the kids' things, right? So
Yeah.
the stress levels come down, where he's like, wow, you know, somebody's actually going to stay with me. You know, somebody's actually going to love me and be here and kiss on me and hug me. And I can go to school and say, oh, I know somebody's going to bring cupcakes and all this stuff to the school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's so funny because when he's at home, he calls me just lovely, lovely. He just called me by my name,
Uh-huh.
and I think at school, all the other kids, when the parents come to pick them up, they say, "Mom," they run and say, "Mommy, mommy." So like the first time he did, it was a little weird. I showed up at the daycare, and he had never called me mom or mommy, and he ran. He was like, "Mommy, mommy, my mommy's here." So I was standing there like,
Did you cry?
I was more so creeped out because he had never done it before. And to
Uh-huh.
this day, it's so funny. I don't know how to feel about it because I'm like, you're doing it for show. Because
Yeah.
at home, you don't call me that. You're doing it for show. He's super smart. He's 5. He goes to Northwestern University on weekends.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
they have like a gifted kids program, and his thing is science and engineering.
Wow. See.
And yeah, I feel like he just got to a point where I'm like, okay, I need somebody to help me, because he started asking me questions like with kinetic energy and potential energy. And so Northwestern tested him. And it's funny because when I first got him, a family member, it was like maybe 3 months in, she's like, you need to get him tested. He may need to be on disability because he act like he's slow. And
Wow.
he didn't talk. He was just so developmentally. He was delayed developmentally.
Hmm.
And so I'm just like, no, I don't know. You know, I worked with him, and it's quite the opposite. He's at Northwestern. He's been there for almost a year, and now I'm being pushed to get him tested because they think he may be genius.
Wow. Look
Right.
at
So I
that.
mean, he's in the kitchen now. He's in pre-K, and he's already doing first and second grade math. So
Wow.
whatever his thing is, it's like an engineering and science. And so, yeah, and I'm
Oh,
like, maybe
God.
God this was meant to.
All divine, because that baby's going to be somebody, you know, and it's just that you had to go through the challenges to get yourself prepared in order to be able to manifest whatever that is in him to come out. So I'm glad you listened to the call, you know, and even though it was like overnight and everything, I just say kudos to you, because that is a big thing. That is
It's,
a very big thing,
it's a
you
huge thing.
know.
And it's like now he's learning about God at school because he's at a Catholic school.
Uh-huh.
We're Catholic, but I put him there because it was a
Right.
better school in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so cute because now he says things like God loves me, but he's smart, so he kind of uses it to his advantage. He'll be like, if God is real, he should buy me a fire truck.
Right.
But it's just cute to see him like learn about God and how he kind of like use it to his advantage.
Mm-hmm. So how is it? So how is it now? So you have this genius baby with you now. So how are you doing? Are you finally getting yourself like in a groove and everything is cool now?
Yeah, it's a lot better. So I started going to church. Like at first, I would go every now and then. So it's now if I'm not traveling for work, I'm in church every Sunday, and I help out around the church. I have to admit, I don't take him with me all the time.
Yeah.
I'm iffy with the whole religion thing with kids. Like I don't want to force him. I don't want him to turn him off to the church. When I was a kid, my grandma made me go. So when I grew up, I hated church.
Right.
And so I let him go sometimes, but I go to church. I go out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I date.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really careful about who I bring around him, even just friends. I know if I have a friend that like has a potty mouth and curse a lot, I know there's not somebody I'm gonna bring home. I kick it with you out in the streets.
Right, right.
And I just, honestly, I really just enjoy being with him. He's super cool. I like hanging out with him. Like it's fun because he's so smart. It's almost like having a roommate.
Right.
His tooth was loose. He lost his first tooth like maybe 3 weeks ago. It was loose. And I was getting ready to travel, and I was so sad because I was like, oh, your tooth is falling out. That means you're going to be a big boy. And I was like sad about it. And one day, after me saying it like 3 times, he gave me a pat. He was like, look, I have to grow up. It's just a part of life.
Yes.
So
what did you do? I know you was just like, what? What is this kid? Where did you come from?
The roles have changed. Like I kind of took him out of a place, and now he takes me out of a place. Like it's okay if I grow up, and it's okay if I lose a tooth, and and he tells me like, one day I'm going to drive. I'm going to have a car. He says stuff like that to me, and you have to be okay.
So you're officially a mom now, for real. So you got all the mom feelings and everything, and that's just amazing, Elsie. I think that is awesome. So I would say to you, what would you say for a first-time mom? Because that's what you are. You're a first-time mom. What would you say to them to kind of, get themselves balanced when this baby comes? Like how to deal with it all?
I would say take it one day at a time. And also it will be okay. Yeah. Like you're going to wake up the next day and you'll get better and you'll learn more. It will be okay. As long as God give you breath and he allow you to wake up each day, just take it one day at a time. Like some things are just out of your control. It gets better. And before you know it, you're going to have like a 5-year-old you can sing and dance with around the house. And, it gets better.
I love it.
So just go with the flow and love the child and try to bond with the child. And I think spending time with the kid is just super important. If you're used to being out every weekend and hitting the clubs or whatever you do with your friends, you need to put that on the back burner because it's so important to bond with the child as soon as you can.
Mm-hmm. Elsie, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you for real. I do. I think your story is amazing, and I know that people are going to enjoy listening to it. Okay, so if anybody has questions or something, can we Facebook you or something like that for like our first time moms? What's your Facebook?
Tata Escobar, T-A. Okay, I know that's Pablo Escobar's wife. In my head, I have a trap house. Okay, everybody knows my trap house. It's Tata Escobar. That's Tata Escobar. Tata Escobar on Facebook.
All right. Well,
my page is outrageous. Just warning you.
No, that's fine. Thank you so much for being here, and I really appreciate what you're doing. And keep doing what you're doing. And if you need anything, just let us know. Okay.
Thank you, and happy pre-Mother's Day to everybody.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. And I'll see you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All righty. Bye.